Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
You know what time it is. That's right. It is Wednesday, October 26, 2022. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com, live from the Planet Fitness in Sterling Heights. 18 and Ryan. Braylon Edwards, good afternoon to you, my friend.
I met Joey Radio years ago at a gym. It wasn't this gym, but I met him at a gym. So the fact that here we are years later, he got me into Woodward Sports. Now going on my second year with Ryan and Ermanni, and we're at a gym again, and Joey's right across from me, man. It's like good old times. It's like when he was 13 and I was,
No doubt about it, but this place is fantastic.
Yeah, it is.
Come on out. We cannot thank Planet Fitness enough. In fact, we've got a couple of things working here today, Braylon. If you guess the total amount of free weights here today,
okay.
All right?
The total amount.
Total amount. You must enter in person.
Gotcha.
All right? You will win front row seats to the Michigan State game.
Oh, wow.
And a Planet Fitness black card for 1 year. How about
what?
that?
Can I get in?
You can get in. Just guess the amount of free weights. You know, dumbbells, medicine balls. You can't go over. That is the only thing. You can't go over. But come on in. We're at 18 and Ryan in Sterling Heights, the Planet Fitness. Come on in, guess the amount of free weights, and the person who comes closest to that by 4 p.m. today, you must be 18 years old or older, you will win front row seats to the Michigan State game on Saturday in Ann Arbor and a 1-year membership, a black card from Planet Fitness.
We're at 18 and what?
18 and Ryan.
No, I know who I'm working with, but 18 and what?
Ryan.
That was my attempt at who's on
first.
Who's
on first, what's on second.
There you go.
Little Abbott and Costello. Speaking of our very own Abbott and Costello, the great Tom Mazawey himself is in the house.
I got nothing. What do you got to bust my balls?
Well, we were talking. You weren't paying attention. We were talking about Abbott.
Joey was tapping me on the shoulder.
I know, that's why.
I heard the who's on
Why
first.
are you so mad today, Maz?
Why are you so mad?
Listen up today. Loosen up a little bit. Joey, when you're over there.
Hey, look, don't worry, Maz. Bad Moon Rising will be in tomorrow, so we'll have him tomorrow.
Hey, we got good stuff today. We got the 2023 Big Ten schedule came out today, football schedule. We're going to go over all of that. And Sheila Hamp talked just a few minutes ago down at Allen Park, so we will have some of that sound for you. What she's talked about, what she says about her team. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And don't expect Jameson Williams back anytime soon.
Yeah, we got a lot to get to. You know, we basically had a show planned around Michigan State, you know, and then we're going to get into the Lions, hour number 2. But, Braylon, I think it's appropriate to kind of flip the switch on this a little bit. Just moments ago, Sheila Hamp, the Lions owner, spoke to the media. It was only about a 4-minute session, and we will play some of that for you in just a little bit. But just the fact that the owner spoke to the media today, and I think this, you know, as a member of the media, I think we're a conduit to the fans, right? And short of Sheila Hamp going on Twitter or Facebook or DetroitLions.com with a message to the fans, she stood there and took a few questions from the media, and I think that's appropriate. I think the Detroit Lions fans deserve to hear from their owner a very disappointing 1-5 start.
Yeah, I think that's one of the big things and big problems for fans is that the ownership for the forward and for the Detroit Lions organization, they haven't come in front of the podium. They haven't answered the hard questions. They haven't talked about bad moments and bad times. So that's something that's been a problem here in Detroit for some time. That's one of the things that we liked about Sheila that we saw last year is she was around the program when they were losing. She was around the franchise when they got their first win. Now here it is, 1-5, and you're like, I'm asking questions about Brad Holmes. Did Brad Mahomes make a mistake with some of his draft pick? Dan Campbell, is he a competent coach? Is he the guy that's going to be able to move this ship in the right direction? But you want to ask those questions to Sheila, and you want Sheila to be able to give you her thoughts. And the fact that she's in front of that podium, the fact that we'll see it, but the fact that she basically doubles down on her support of Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell. Well, you know what? She answered the question. She is here. That's good to see for the Detroit Lions fan base.
Without further ado, do we have that, Maz? Where are we at with this?
We sure do. Fletcher's got it for us.
All
Sheila
right.
Hamp just a few minutes earlier, courtesy of Brad Galley of WXYZ.
You know, you all well know our team is very young, and that's not an excuse. That's a fact. And, you know, young players are going to make mistakes. So we've had some key mistakes that have cost us games. Hopefully we're not going to repeat those. Hopefully we learn. But it is a process, and, you know, that's what it is. It's hard, and it's really hard to stay disciplined, you know. I mean, no one hates losing more than I do, than my family does, but, you know, it's just we got to sort of got through it.
Where are you confident? What feels different about
Pardon me?
What feels different about this time? You guys have went through several rebuilds, but what gives you confidence that?
Well, this I would say was like a tear down and then a rebuild. I mean, we really had to take it down to the ground level. And it's been not only on the football side, but across the organization. We've put in a lot of new talent at the top. I really believe in the top leadership in this organization, and I think we've got the people to do it, to carry this out. I think that's what's different.
Why more guys? One more.
Why are you talking right now, and how long does this patience last? You know, I think that's what people
Well,
want to know.
yeah, I agree with you. Well, patience lasts, you know, as I say, we've got a long way to go in this season. I wanted to talk to you guys because I know, I mean, really talking to you, talking to the fans, and, you know, everyone's frustrated. You know, I'm frustrated, but again, I really believe in what we've got and what we're going to be. It just takes time.
Sheila, why are you confident that Dan Campbell is still the right coach for this operation right now when you look around the league and you see other rebuilds, you know, with more success at this point?
Yes, well, what I really have confidence in is the process we went through in the first place when we hired Brad and Dan. It was extremely thorough, you know, and we really believe we've come up with the right people. So, you know, I can't comment on other teams' rosters or what they had in the first place. All I know is what we had and where we're going.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Neither one of them, their jobs are in jeopardy no matter what happens this season.
You know, that's interesting. And I applaud Sheila Hamp for sitting there taking some questions. And you know, it's funny towards the end there. It's like, okay, that's enough questions. Like, if I'm a billionaire, nobody's telling me when to stop taking questions, by the way. That's the worst thing. Don't tell me to stop taking questions,
But
right?
you also got to protect her from herself.
Yeah, right. Well,
It's embarrassing
yeah.
when you hear that.
It is kind of embarrassing. I think so.
Yeah, but if you're not someone that's always in front of the camera as it relates to answering the tough questions, there are the Detroit Lions, and it's a billion questions you can ask, and they all have different answers. If you're not equipped for that,
Yeah.
you can get tripped up if someone doesn't have your back.
So what'd you make of some of the things she said? I thought one of the best questions to that effect, and I don't know who the reporter was, but he said, what is different about this group? We've seen rebuilds in the past. What's different about this group? Thought that was a really fair question.
I think it is a fair question. I think especially after how much hype there was around this team and how good things looked in the offseason, and then all of a sudden you get into the season and you stubbed your toe, for lack of a better word. You stubbed your toe a couple times over. So, you know, what's different about this group than Quintricia? What's different about this group than Jim Caldwell? And the list goes on. And that's a tough question for Sheila Hamp to answer. That's a tough question for us to handle. But at the end of the day, this is what we have. In so many words, I feel like Sheila Hamp is basically telling you, look, this is the decision I made. This is the decision that we stuck with in terms of a Dan Campbell, in terms of Brad Holmes, in terms of the draft picks that we've made. Look, rebuilding takes time. You guys say you're tired of rebuilding for 70 years. Well, you're going to do it right this time, and I think that's what she's saying. So what I took from it is everybody buckle up because Dan Campbell's not going anywhere.
And we knew that,
And we knew
by
that.
the way.
Dan Campbell's not going anywhere. They're not getting rid of Brad Holmes, and rightfully so. So we gotta like hunker down. You know, we got to put our heels in the dirt, and we got to figure out what and how the Detroit Lions can get better and how fast they can get better. What are the moves that they can make right now to become a better team this season, not next season?
She said it's a complete tear down. You have to take it down to the studs, basically. And this is what Patricia and Quinn left the Lions with. They took a couple of great players and got rid of them, a few players, as a matter of fact. But then they bring back the same guys that they had last year. So when she says it's a complete teardown, it's not completely true. And I know they're draft picks now, and they got rid of Matt Stafford, obviously. That was their franchise. And you got to start over again with another number one pick in Jared Goff, a number one first guy taken off the board back in the day. But it's not a complete tear down if you're bringing back the same guys year in and year out. They got to get the draft right. And now we heard word today, and I know Lion fans, you shouldn't care, but Jameson Williams, don't expect him back anytime soon. We'll play something for you in a little bit, but he's not coming back for at least a month and change. And who knows, DeAndre Swift back practicing again. We'll see where it goes with him, if he can stay healthy or not. But that's what Quinn left us. Quinn and Patricia left us with this mess, and now you got to dig out of it again. It's unfortunate that Lion fans have to do this year in and year out.
But I think that's what she meant by a complete rebuild. I think part of it was, even though guys like myself that wanted to bring in experienced veterans on the other side of the ball, the defensive side of the ball, bring in some of those free agents, maybe pay them a little money, not a ton. I keep bringing up names like Miles Jack. Miles Jack currently makes $8 million for the Pittsburgh Steelers, so I was thinking along the lines of that. But if it's true, if this money is real, then you didn't have enough money to go after certain free agents. So you know what? I'll give them a little credit on that. But the thing is, it may be a new rebuild, and that may take time. But it doesn't take time to look at a situation like the Minnesota game where you're up 14 points. You were up 14 points, and you could have won that game. It doesn't take time to look at how you played when you were in New England almost 3 weeks ago. Now, it doesn't take a rebuild to look at how you played against the Seattle Seahawks, giving up 48 points to that team. It's a decent team, but they're not a 48-point team. So I think on one side is we understand it's a rebuild. You want it to be a rebuild because you're tired of rebuilding. But on the other side, you see things in which there were in-game decisions, there are coaching woes, and there are player woes that could have been differences this year. And I think that's what probably is going to frustrate fans as they listen to Sheila Hamp.
Yeah, I'm frustrated altogether. Yeah. I mean, I applaud her for sitting there and taking a couple of questions. I do. I applaud her. I'm just tired, man. I'm exhausted by it. I'm exhausted by giving my heart and soul to this football team and this organization and having zero payoff. I mean, there is no redeeming quality about being a Detroit Lions fan. And then when you hear it's a teardown,
okay,
give me a break, man. How many times have we had to tear this thing down? And that was not the message coming in.
That's because they don't get it right. They don't get the right players.
A complete teardown was not the message. Remember when Mike Babcock was got hired to be the coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs?
Yeah.
And they asked him at his press conference what the next couple of years are going to be like, how long is it going to take? And he stood there. You can say what you want about Babcock, whether he's a total jerk or not, and he was. People hate the guy. But one of the things I've always respected about Babcock is he looked at those people in Toronto, which you'd probably equate to Yankees fans, right? If you're a manager of the New York Yankees.
Well, they're close to the Lions. They haven't won since '67.
But he said, you know what, the next couple of years, pain. You're going to be pain. It's going to be very painful the next couple of years because we're going to go all the way down before we build it back up. And Toronto is playing pretty good hockey right now. Now it's been, 6-7 years since he took over. But what I'm trying to say is the message that they had coming in was not the message that we heard today from Sheila Hamp. It just wasn't.
But didn't
complete and then the compound. I'm sorry, Braylon.
Go ahead, brother.
But just to compound it, the NFC is trash. There is nobody in the NFC.
Oh, they're the Super Bowl
that
champs.
You feel like have a bunch of world beaters. I mean, the Rams are a 500 team. Yeah. The Bucks are a 500 team. The Packers are no good. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Matt Stafford, all bad.
Yeah.
And then you see what about Seattle? What was their tear down? What's their total complete tear down? All they are is 4-3, leading the AFC West.
We showed you their draft yesterday.
So
every guy is playing.
I don't want you to tell me it's going to take time anymore. Because I look at what Seattle's doing. I saw Cincinnati go to the Super Bowl 2 years. New York football Giants in the Jets. It doesn't take long in the NFL. It is set up for you. The NFL, the National Football League, is set up for you to get good quickly. If you are not and cannot get good quickly, then you don't have the right people in charge. Yeah. So we'll see where they finish the next 11 games. I got to take a break.
Jets haven't won since '69. They were
in
the
that
AFL.
Don't forget about that.
So it's not been quick, okay?
Don't forget about that. But first, a message from Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Come to Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win a down payment for your dream home up to $200,000. Lady Jane's open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. No appointment necessary. It is wicked awesome.
The biggest rivalry in the state is almost here. That means one thing, the biggest tailgate party in the state. Join Woodward Sports for our tailgate takeover before the U of M versus State game on October 29th. Will Harbaugh and the boys pull out the win? Or is Tuck still coming? We will find out at the Big House. Michigan legend Braylon Edwards will be handing out food, prizes, and much more. So no matter what team you root for, come party with the network that does it best. The Woodward Sports Network. The tailgate takeover, powered by Custom Health Centers, Syntron, and Planet Fitness.
Woodward Sports, you see the name!
Hi, I'm John from Better Rate Mortgage, and to me, family is more than blood. That's why I have the biggest family in Metro Detroit. If you're looking to buy a house or refinance and need a loan, come get treated better than family by me and our entire team here at Better Rate Mortgage. We pride ourselves on giving you better advice, better service, and a better loan experience. That's why we are Better Rate. If you're looking for a new mortgage, come get treated like family. Actually, better with Better Rate Mortgage. Visit us at mybetterrate.com or call at 248-480-4467 today.
When you need apparel, there's only one place to go. Big Frog in Novi. With no setup fees, no artwork fees, no minimum, and a 24-hour turnaround, you can have your whole team outfitted in no time. Embroidery, direct-to-garment, vinyl, and screen printing, Big Frog has it all in all the styles you want. So whether it's a sports team, fundraiser, school event, or corporate needs, Big Frog is your one-stop destination. Visit bigfrog.com/Novi or call 844-4-BIG-FROG.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
OddsTrader.com is the #1 site for your game day bets, play-by-play updates, live scores, and best scores from multiple sports books. You can make all the bets that you want to make on OddsTrader.com. You can go to every book that you want to on OddsTrader.com. When you go to the website, they give you all the stats, all the numbers, all the statistics that you need to put you in the best situation to win some of that cash. Simply put, OddsTrader.com is the best. So go to OddsTrader.com.
No, there's still hope. He's put together a pretty good month, a real good month. And so we feel like we're going to have him before this season's out. You know, it's hard to say when that's going to be. I mean, I would say at least probably another month. But I do feel like we're going to get him before this is said and done.
Here at the newly renovated Planet Fitness in Sterling Heights, Michigan, here on 18 Mile Road and Ryan. Planet Fitness, the home of the judgment-free zone where you can work out in a non-intimidating, judgment-free atmosphere. By the way, if you come here by 4 p.m. today and guess the total weight in pounds of free weights, like, the dumbbells. Oh, that shoulder's going to hurt.
Uh-oh.
Oh, the medicine balls. All the free weights here in this location. You will win. Be the closest person to this. You'll win front row seats to the Michigan State game and Planet Fitness Black Card membership of 1 year.
I would not have the foggiest idea how to even start.
I threw a guess out there, like just a random guess. And apparently I came pretty close.
Wow.
So I am not going to share what that guess was.
Send it to me.
Braylon, a couple of things to chew on there. We've got the Jameson Williams comments from Dan Campbell. And then, of course, Sheila Hamp spoke to the media today saying she believed in her process, in the organization's process. It was a complete teardown. And those, did she say patience?
Yes, she did.
Did she say those words, patience?
She did.
Because that is words I never want to hear from anybody in the Lions organization.
She did. She preached patience. When she said patience, and somebody repeated patience back to her.
She should say patient like in the hospital. That's what we're going to be in the mental hospital.
A lot of people are. That's why we do the SMA reads. No, but just thinking about it, that's not what you want to hear as a Detroit Lions fan. You actually want to hear her come to the podium. And to be honest, you actually want to see her get after Dan Campbell a little bit, maybe get after the defensive coordinator a little bit. The offense, maybe just get after a couple players, or just the Lions as a whole. Maybe her say something to the effect that the Lions have not played as well as I thought they could have. They haven't put, what I'm saying, like something like that, because we've watched the game tape. When you tell us that it's a rebuild, we understand that going into the season, Ryan. We get that, right? We get it's a rebuild, but we also get it when we see, them try to give the game back to the Commanders. We get it when we see the collapse of the Minnesota Vikings game. We see it with the blowout of the Patriots games. We see it this past week in Dallas where they make mistakes that cost them the game. Going to the Jameson Williams stuff, though, that's exactly what they should see out of him. If you're the Detroit Lions fan base, you knew you guys weren't, well, with the exception of Ryan Ermanni, you knew you weren't going to the playoffs this year. You knew you were floating around 6 wins. 6 wins was going to be the sweet spot. You knew Jameson Williams was coming off injury. You knew that he was going to be on PUP. You knew that he had to get it healthy. When he's healthy, he's a guy that can be one of those transitional players for you, that they take that offense to the next level, like a Tyreek Hill, like a Devontae Adams, like a Jalen Waddle, Justin Jefferson. He's one of the next guys out of the SEC. So he's going to be that player for you. So if you're a team like now, that's not a good team, that's not getting to the playoffs, you rushing back Jameson Williams because your fan base wants to see him, because your fan base didn't like the pick of him being an injured player, that does anybody any good. It doesn't do you good, and it doesn't do him good, and it doesn't do the fan base good. So you put a guy out there that's not necessarily ready. But trust my words, he is going to be worth the wait.
I told you from the get-go, they're not going to rush this guy back. Everyone thought he'd be back after the bye. I said, no way, no how. They're just not a winning team right now. Why put him out there? Get him completely healthy. He only got injured in January. And you heard Braylon. It could take anywhere from 7 months, but more than likely, it almost takes a year to get fully healthy. So if you're lucky, you might get him in for a game or two at the end of the season just to get him some reps, just to get him out there, see how he looks. But here's the kicker, man. We talk about Seattle. And yesterday we put their draft this year. Every one of their top 6 draft picks are playing and playing well. All rookies. Pete Carroll takes Geno Smith off the scrap heap. And Geno Smith is leading the league in completion percentage because Pete Carroll is coaching him to his strengths. He is a genius. And Braylon has said this from the get-go. Pete Carroll had Russell Wilson in the best situation possible. He gave Russell Wilson the tools. Do it this way, Russ. And we all bought in. Russell Wilson, we thought he was going to be a Hall of Famer. He goes to Denver under Nathaniel Hackett, and there's rumors that he ain't going to make it past this week if they lose to the Jags. You give him a coach like that doesn't know what he's doing, that actually brings in an assistant coach to help him through a game. It all depends on how you're coached, and they can't get their players on the field. Josh Pascal's on the field. He looked really good in the beginning of that game, and I think he's going to be what we hoped. Him and Aiden Hutchinson, that's your combo, and the defense really impressed the hell out of me last week. So hats off to AC and AG and the Lions defense.
Talking about that Geno Smith deal, it's something that people don't talk about is when you come in the league as a starter. Geno Smith was drafted out of West Virginia. I mean, I remember his last year. They were 7-0. He was in the Heisman talks. He was a clear winner to win the Heisman after 7 games, much like everybody. Then they lost everyone after that. But he gets drafted to the Jets in the second round, starts for the Jets. It doesn't go awry. So then he becomes a backup. But here's what people don't pay attention to. When Geno left the Jets, he was starting. He was a guy. He was a starting quarterback. He leaves the Jets. Now he goes to the Giants. Who does he back up? He backs up a 2-time
Eli.
He backs up a 2-time Super Bowl winner, 2-time Super Bowl MVP winner, and Eli Manning. He sits behind Eli, learns what he learns from Eli Manning. His next stop, he goes out to the L.A. Chargers, at the time San Diego. Who does he sit behind? He sits behind Phillip Rivers. Learns from Phillip Rivers. He learns what it means to be a backup quarterback. Maybe he learns what it means to take what they give you and not try to put too much on yourself. Leaves there, and then he goes out to Seattle. Who did he sit behind in Seattle? He sits behind Russell Wilson. Now he learns once again from a guy that is first-team Hall of Fame. He'll be a first-ballot Hall of Famer. So I think along the journey, Geno Smith took from these quarterbacks that are all going to be in the Hall of Fame, took little bits and pieces, and now he's in a situation where he's just taking what they're giving him as he sees it for the Seahawks. Jared Goff's never been in that situation. Jared Goff's always been number one. He's always been the number one starter. Even though it didn't work out for him in L.A., he never came off the bench. And then when he comes here, another start, never comes off the bench. So sometimes when you go from being number one and you have to relearn yourself, it helps you along the way, especially when you have guys like Pete Carroll and that offense to put him in best situations.
The Detroit Lions are at a pretty critical point in their franchise's history here. And I don't say that lightly or whatever. I say that because we are on the precipice here of a wide-open division. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers, you see what's going on with him in Green Bay. Ooh. He has owned this division.
Who called that?
Well, did, I really believed it. You know, he's getting older and no Devontae Adams. It is what it is. I think that changed the football team. What I'm trying to say is I don't think Aaron Rodgers is long for this. In fact, Aaron Rodgers might even retire at the end of this year, or certainly probably 2 more years and he's done. I don't think he wants to be a Tom Brady and hang on until he's 44, 45 years old. I don't think that. Minnesota, Chicago. If Detroit can get this right over the next 2 years, they should be competing for division championships year in and year out regularly beginning in 2024 if they do this thing properly. Right? I mean, you're going to have 3 picks in the top 38 of the draft probably. Coming up. You've got some picks in 24. You're right there, and I hate to say you're 2 years away from anything like that, but legit 2 years away if you do it right. If you do it wrong, you're going to be right back in this spot again with a new head coach, a new general manager, because unless Dan Campbell completely falls on his face, this isn't Denver.
Okay.
This isn't Denver where Nathaniel Hackett is probably going to lose to the Jags and get bounced in year 1. This isn't Jacksonville where Urban Meyer is going to get bounced in year 1. Dan Campbell is not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere this year. He's not going anywhere next year either. He's got a 6-year deal. He will not be removed as head coach of the Detroit Lions until 2024 at the earliest.
This is what I say about the Detroit Lions and Dan Campbell. You're absolutely right. He won't be removed. But, see, I need him to get better. Because if I'm buying into what Brad Holmes is doing from a draft point of view, Aiden Hutchinson now sits at 6 sacks. We saw him have 2 sacks this past week. He woke up. Maybe he got healthy from the bye week, which is good for the Detroit Lions. You'll have Jameson Williams at some point. He will be a great player. Trust me, my words on that. I mark my words on that. Pascal came in, and Pascal played decent. I saw Pascal in some plays in there, so that looks like a good pick. Rodrigo, a.k.a. Malcolm Rodriguez, in the 6th round. That looks like a good 6th-round pick. Kirby Joseph looks like he has some ability, too, the safety/secondary player out of Illinois. Brad Holmes seems as though he's hitting it on the picks. He seems as though, with the question of a couple, maybe Anzarike, et cetera, but it seems like he's hitting it. If you're telling me I got to wait till these guys, further picks, I get all that. Maybe add some people in free agency once you understand you have some more money, move some money around, get rid of some players, lose some contracts. You bring in some experienced players, not that expensive. That'll help. That's all well and good, but Dan Campbell needs to get better. I don't want to hear I need to wait for the draft picks to be right. I need to wait for the draft picks to be healthy. I need to wait for us to have money so that so the Detroit Lions can get in the right type of free agent so they can bring in those guys and be ready for those guys to come in. All that's well and good. But if they wait for all that to happen, for Dan Campbell to try to now coach that team, you're wasting 2 years. Dan Campbell needs to be getting better as a coach right now so that when the team does have those pieces, he's ready to coach those pieces accordingly. That's where the issue is. Dan Campbell and that coaching staff have to get better now to be ready then.
I just want to say you knew last week what kind of coach Dan Campbell was. They came out and they played hard. If they played like they did, uninspired against the Patriots and got run off the field, then you could be talking about him. But the guy knows how to coach. Does he know in-game yet? Probably not as good. But let's give him some time. Because as the team grows, hopefully he grows as well. They're playing for the guy. They love the guy. I'll take that right now. Let's see how they go. I think they beat Miami.
I understand that, Maz, and I'm trying to tell you, I get that. I'm saying, but I just want him to get better week to week. That's all I'm saying. When I was in Cleveland, we loved Romeo Crennel. We played for Romeo Crennel, but he didn't know what he was doing as a head man. That's all I'm saying.
Let's continue this conversation, and an incredible stat we'll share with you. We'll do it next, but first a message from Chili Peppers Tanning.
All right, 27 locations. As a matter of fact, I passed one on my way here to Planet Fitness today, and very close to here. You know, there's 2 right on Woodward in Birmingham and Royal Oak as well. More on the way. The cleanest salons in the D. And if you join the Pepper Club, they're going to save you $5 against any competitor on unlimited tanning. And, of course, you get the great lotions and all the face lotions there to take good care of you. The best deals, the darkest tans, your vitamin D headquarters is ChiliPeppersTanning.com.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1, what's your why? More epic energy, better sleep, blow off steam? Step 2, join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3, bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
Woodward Sports is giving you another chance to sit front row, this time at the Detroit versus Green Bay game. Think you have the best Dan Campbell impression?
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Can you say man with the best of them?
I got it. Here's what I need, man. I need you to trust me. I swear to God, I'm not a lunatic. I swear to you.
Can you say, let's go for it on 4th down?
Man, I got a plan, I swear to you. All I think about is you guys. That's all I think about, man.
Are you a master motivator?
That's all I think about is you guys.
Show us in a video. Record your best Dan Campbell impression and post the video on Twitter or Instagram using hashtag #WoodwardFrontRow. We'll select the best 3 impersonations of Motor City Dan Campbell and send you and a guest to front row. So knock the dust off the old sweatpants, light some kneecaps, and enter today. And as always, go Lions, man.
I just need you to trust me. That's all. Please.
I don't care if I got 1 toe, 2 butt cheeks, and a rock.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that 1 Lions playoff win in 1991. Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Centron is the official energy drink of the Detroit Red Wings, and now for a limited time, they have combined all 3 of their flavors into a limited edition 6-pack. That's right. You can get the sugar-free, classic, and the cranberry, all by going to CentronWorld.com/Red Wings. Listen, they have partnered up with the Red Wings, the Pistons, the Tigers, and WoodwardSports.com to help re-energize the community. So why don't you let them? We're here. Drink it, live it with Centron.
He brings a little something to us from an explosiveness standpoint. You know, he certainly has the high motor, but you could certainly feel him early in that game, you know. And now the more plays he kind of took on, as he gets in better condition, game condition, he'll get better, and then time on task. I mean, he really, you know, he hasn't played any football per se other than 3 weeks of practice.
And that was Lions head coach Dan Campbell talking about Josh Paschal, 2nd-round pick. We certainly appreciate you guys. We are here at the Planet Fitness in Sterling Heights, newly renovated on 18 Mile Road and Ryan. If you come to Planet Fitness at this location before 4 p.m. today, you're going to have a chance to win front row tickets to the Michigan State football game on Saturday. Planet Fitness Black Card membership for 1 year. You have to be in person here at the 18 Mile and Ryan location, Planet Fitness, where no judgments. Only $10.
It's a hell of a locker room they got, too.
It is. I need to get in the locker room because I've had to go to the bathroom for the last 30 minutes and I haven't even made it. But I'll try to race out of here during the next break. But anyway, so Dan Campbell talking about Josh Paschal. We talk about this, Bray.
Yeah.
If the Lions are going to do anything over the next year or 2, or heaven forbid 3 years, they're going to need these guys that they picked over the last 2 years to be significant contributors to them. Josh Paschal has played 1 game for this football team, not going to have an overreaction to what he did or what he did not do. But Paschal, Hutchinson, Williams,
McNeil.
McNeil.
Yeah.
These guys are going to have to be major contributors, especially guys high up in the draft.
Yeah, it's tough when you watch a team like the New York Jets and you watch how well their rookies were playing. You look at a Breece Hall, you look at a Garrett Wilson, you look at, and the list goes on. But even if you pay attention closely, man, like Garrett Wilson hasn't necessarily been knocking out of the park for the New York Jets. You look at
he had one good game.
Exactly. You look
That's
at
it.
Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore has to leave. You know, he's a guy who got drafted last year. Mekhi Becton is a guy that's been injured. So they're having success, but a lot of those pieces were put in place maybe before you look at even Robert Salah got there. I think for the Detroit Lions, I think Aiden Hutchinson is coming around the corner. Josh Pascal, I think we woke up a little bit when he was in the game last week. You look at it, Jameson Williams is going to come on. Let's go last year. Amon-Ra St. Brown. I mean, look at how well Amon-Ra St. Brown was for you. In every rebuild, you got to have some carryover. DeAndre Swift is our carryover for the Detroit Lions, and when he's healthy, he's looked amazing, and the Detroit Lions offense has looked amazing. But when he's not in there, they don't have the same dynamic that you get with Craig Reynolds and with Jamal Williams. So for the Detroit Lions, Brad Holmes has made some good picks. I think some of them actually end up being great picks. You look at Penei Sewell, who's played well. I think on the drafting side of things, I think everybody's really waiting for Jameson Williams to come back and be really good. And I think you're waiting for Aiden Hutchinson to have that 14-sack season that he's capable of, or that you hope he's capable of. So it comes down to in-game coaching right now. That's how you get better as a team that's young and you're trying to figure the draft process out for next year as well as free agent. You got to be in-game. It's got to be one of those coaching staffs. It's got to be Dan Campbell lighting fire under his offensive and defensive coordinators.
Let's face it, they're a different team when they have their players on the field. I mean, their offense was one of the best offenses in the first 3 weeks of the season, almost 4 weeks of the season. But when you're missing guys and you don't have the depth, you can't compete. And that's what happened in that New England game. They just ran out of steam. And then last week you lose St. Brown a minute into the game. That killed them. Yet they stayed in that damn game till the end. They made a bad fumble on the goal line. Jamal Williams never fumbles. He fumbled. These are the things that's not Dan Campbell's fault. He threw his headphones to the ground. I don't blame the poor guy. I wanted to give him a hug after that play. What could he do? The only thing he could have done different on that play, and I still say it, he could have slowed it down and maybe had them take a look to see if they could have moved up a half a yard. But they wanted to rush and try to catch the Cowboys off guard. So I'll pass on that. But that's, to me, his only mistake last week.
I'm not beating Dan Campbell up. I'm simply going through the season as a guy that didn't have high expectations on the Detroit Lions, and I'm breaking down what I see. You can consistently tell me that they're missing guys. They're going to have guys next year. They're going to draft more players. I get that, but we have to have the conversation day to day about what we see. And a lot of what we see isn't because you lack a talent. It's because you lack first-round draft picks, because you lack those players. It's in-game things that have not gone your way. Guys fumbling, I get it. That's not on Dan Campbell. Guys dropping passes, maybe that's on the DB. I saw 2 interceptions dropped in that game. Dak Prescott should have had a horrible game. But he didn't have a horrible game because you had 3 guys drop interceptions. You got bailed out by the offense and the fumble, and Micah Parsons making a hell of a play. I understand it's not all on Dan Campbell. I'm just putting a bigger lens onto the Detroit Lions and what you've seen so far to make them 1-5. They've been in some games where they could win. Had nothing to do with who played or not. Had to do with closing games, and you can't close games. Closing games comes from a head coach's perspective because the head coach leads you with a mindset on how to close games, puts you in position to close games, makes you feel comfortable in closing games. But the Detroit Lions haven't had that all year, and they've made mistakes in the fourth quarter, tremendous mistakes, and that's on coaching and players as well. It's on both, Maz. You're right. It's not Dan Campbell. It's on both.
They haven't had a coach that knows how to close out games, that knows how to operate during a game. I mean, look last time. They had Jim Caldwell. As much as we like
Throw it up there, Fletch.
As much as we like gentleman Jim Caldwell and his record here, and he's the winningest head coach in Lions history percentage-wise, he had a losing record against all the winning teams. But he beat the teams he's supposed to beat. But he was terrible on the sidelines. He really was. Time management was horrible. We have to remember all those things. So if you could bottle up Jim Caldwell during the week, they loved him, and maybe put someone else there, I don't know, Jim Harbaugh, let's just say, or somebody like that, to close a game, that's your coach. And we haven't had one. We haven't.
The thing about all this coach talk, though, and you're not wrong in what you're saying, Bray, but I think it's very clear today that love him or hate him, like him or not like him, think he's doing a good job or not think he's doing a good job, the Detroit Lions and their fans are stuck, for lack of a better way to say it, with Dan Campbell for, I would say, years to come, as in plural. I think it is very clear today that Sheila Hamp is not going to make a move on Dan Campbell regardless of what happens this season, and probably, to be honest with you, Bray, not next season either.
I told you what I feel on that.
And I'm agreeing with you.
No, I'm telling you why she's not going to make a move. She's not going to make a move because nobody wants the Detroit Lions job. You and I, let's get into that conversation. You want to talk about that in the car. I simply said that, listen, you mean to tell me if somebody wanted the Detroit Lions job that actually knew what the hell they were doing and actually can put a staff together that you found to be competent, that Dan Campbell will be the guy that got the job? Dan Campbell will be the guy that got a 6-year deal at that. Sheila Hamp's got her guy in place, so she doesn't have to necessarily worry about it for the next 4 or 5 years. Look, I hired Brad Holmes. Brad Holmes seems to know what he's doing coming out of the Los Angeles Rams situation and how he kind of had some he played an intricate part in some of their draft picks and some of their free agent moves. That was a big selling point for him getting Brad Holmes here. Now, Dan Campbell's the guy he replied to the ad in the paper. That's how I look at it. Now, does he motivate guys? You're damn right he does. You heard Lindell White. Lindell White came on the show yesterday and said, guys play for him. They play hard. But it's not enough to play for a guy. You got to have that guy being able to put you in right situations to win. Because if you're giving everything you can to this guy and he's not getting better as a coach, if he's not getting better as a head coach, a head man, getting under his defensive coordinator, his offensive coordinator, if he's not getting better, then he's not doing you as a player any favors. And I've seen this situation play out before.
We are live at Planet Fitness here, the newly renovated Planet Fitness in Sterling Heights on 18 Mile and Ryan. Planet Fitness, home with a judgment-free zone where you can work out in a non-intimidating, judgment-free atmosphere. You guys were going back and forth so much, I forgot which direction I wanted to take.
You were going to talk about Caldwell, I think.
Yeah, we did put the numbers up. I mean, look, I'm tired of the Caldwell argument, too. The Lions...
But it's a fact.
Yeah,
and if you even go back to Wayne Fonts, the record is unbelievable after him.
The Caldwell stuff is an exhausting conversation, too.
All coaching is.
Jim Caldwell was 4-23 against teams with winning records.
Yeah, I get it.
There was,
he beat the losers.
I
he got
understand
in the playoffs three times.
But Jim Caldwell has just as many playoff wins as Dan Campbell.
Yes, that's a
and
fact.
Jim Schwartz.
But he got there.
And I just am exhausted by it because if you want to compare Jim Caldwell to other Lions coaches,
you said Jim Caldwell had just as many wins in the playoffs.
For the Lions.
Oh, okay. I was like, he did go to a Super Bowl.
The winningest playoff coach in Lions history is Wayne Fonts.
With
He's
1-0.
You
know, I mean, not 1-0. He's just got one win.
He got creamed.
But I mean, I'm just the Lions are a terrible organization. They continue to hire the wrong people. If you want to compare Jim Caldwell to other Lions coaches, yes, he's great. He might be the best one, sans Wayne Fonts. But, again, compare it to other successes in the NFL, and he didn't win a playoff game. Should he have gotten another year? Perhaps. But they went 1-7 against winning teams in his final year. I mean, it's almost exhausting. What can they do moving forward to make sure this stuff doesn't happen again? What do they got to do to win a friggin' playoff game around here? What do they got to do to win a game?
Just get there.
A regular season game around here. Forget about the playoffs. Just try to win a game. I mean, is it too much to ask?
I go back to it, and obviously we're stuck with Dan Campbell, so it doesn't matter what I'm saying, but I'm answering your question right now. The difference is you look at the guys that win, they have head coaches that know what they're doing, and if the head coach doesn't know what he's doing, he's going to hire guys that do. If they're an offensive-minded head coach, then they know how to handle the offensive side of the ball. They know what guy to hire under their tree that's going to become the next head coach. If they're offensive side of mind, then on the defensive side, they make sure they get a guy that knows the defense so they don't even have to look in the defensive direction. Do you think Brian Daboll from the New York Giants right now is looking in his defense's direction one time this season? The answer is no. Wink Martindale, who has been around this league for 30 years, Wink Martindale has these guys ready to go. They are the best team in terms of point differential on defense in the fourth quarter in the NFL. They are the best scoring defense in the fourth quarter in the NFL. He knew, you know what? I want to focus on offense and make sure we put Daniel Jones in the best position, Saquon Barkley. So let me get a guy that knows exactly what he's doing. Let me not go get my homeboy, who I think could be a good defensive coordinator because he was a good player. I'm not saying Aaron Glenn's not going to be the guy for the Lions on the defense. You saw last week they played a lot better. But I'm just saying how these teams have success. They put guys in positions that know what the hell they're doing if they themselves do not.
Forget about the coaching staff for a minute. Let's talk about the general manager of the Detroit Lions for a couple of minutes. Tuesday is the NFL trade deadline. Would you like to see the general manager get bold a little bit, or is he just going to stand pat? What do you want to see Brad Holmes do before Tuesday's NFL trade deadline, if anything? But first, a message from Guardian Alarm. It is the fall season, and the leaves are on the ground. That means spending more time outside. Let Guardian Alarm give you peace of mind while you're out enjoying the sunshine. Just call 1-800-STAY-OUT today, and you could rest easy knowing you have 24/7 protection. That's 1-800-STAY-OUT. Let them know Woodward Sports sent you.
The biggest rivalry in the state is almost here. That means one thing, the biggest tailgate party in the state. Join Woodward Sports for our tailgate takeover before the U of M versus State game on October 29th. Will Harbaugh and the boys pull out the win? Or is Tuck still coming? We will find out at the Big House. Michigan legend Braylon Edwards will be handing out food, prizes, and much more. So no matter what team you root for, come party with the network that does it best. The Woodward Sports Network. The tailgate takeover, powered by Custom Health Centers, Syntron, and Planet Fitness.
Woodward Sports, you see the name!
Hey, it's Sean Jordan from the Sports Marketing Agency. And SMA wouldn't be who we are without our amazing partners.
Thank you so much, Sean. You know, at Detroit Wayne, we want to serve as a resource for you and your families. We offer mental health services, substance use disorder services throughout our communities, and we want to be that source and resource within the community.
If you or a loved one are suffering from a mental health or substance abuse issue, please don't hesitate to call 1-800-241-4949.
New to the game or a season better? OddsTrader.com has everything you need to make the right bet ahead of kickoff. Begin your handicapping journey with OddsTrader. Improve your edge by finding the best price on every game from sportsbooks in your backyard. Take advantage of the numerous sign-up bonus offers to pad your bankroll. Dive into key game statistics, player performance, and even account for the projected game day weather. Best of all, you can use the OddsTrader Bet Tracker to keep a log of your action. Welcome to OddsTrader, and best of luck.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Hey, gang, it's Maz for Big Boy, and for a limited time only, try the all-new loaded fries and brand-new burgers at Big Boy. It's not the Slim Jim anymore. It's called the Big Jim. How about that bacon blue burger and the chili cheeseburger? And how about those loaded fries? No more plain fries. You want nacho fries. You want chili cheese fries. You want baked potato fries. You want to satisfy those taste buds at Big Boy.
You know, you all well know our team is very young, and that's not an excuse. That's a fact. And, you know, young players are going to make mistakes. So we've had some key mistakes that have cost us games. Hopefully we're not going to repeat those. Hopefully we learn. But it is a process, and, you know, that's what it is. It's hard, and it's really hard to stay disciplined, you know. I mean, no one hates losing more than I do, than my family does, but, you know, it's just we got to sort of got through it.
Where are you coming? What feels different about
Pardon me?
What feels different about this time? You guys have went through several rebuilds, but what gives you confidence that?
Well, this I would say was like a tear down and then a rebuild. I mean, we really had to take it down to the ground level. And it's been not only on the football side, but across the organization. We've put in a lot of new talent at the top. I really believe in the top leadership in this organization, and I think we've got the people to do it, to carry this out. I think that's what's different.
One more, guys, one more. Why are you talking right now, and how long does this patience last? You know, I think that's what people
well,
want to know.
yeah, I agree with you. Well, patience lasts, you know, as I say, we've got a long way to go in this season. I wanted to talk to you guys because I know, I mean, really talking to you, talking to the fans, and, you know, everyone's frustrated. You know, I'm frustrated, but again, I really believe in what we've got and what we're going to be. It just takes time.
Sheila, why are you confident that Dan Campbell is still the right coach for this operation right now when you look around the league and you see other rebuilds, with more success at this point?
Yes, well, what I really have confidence in is the process we went through in the first place when we hired Brad and Dan. It was extremely thorough, and we really believe we've come up with the right people. So, I can't comment on other teams' rosters or what they had in the first place. All I know is what we had and where we're going.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Neither one of them.
And that was Sheila Hamp earlier today down at Lions headquarters in Allen Park. Want to thank Brad Galley. That's his video there that he posted on Twitter and we grabbed, woodwardsports.com. One of the things with Sheila Hamp, she's talking about young players, they make mistakes that cost you a game. I'm like, what young player cost the Lions a game this year? I think Jamal Williams did, veteran. I think Jared Goff has, veteran. And I think head coach has. Those three aspects of that. So that's what I take out of that. Good for her for talking, but at the same time, did not really particularly care for what she had to say because, again, I don't believe it takes 3, 4, 5, 6 years to win in the NFL anymore. I just don't. You see teams all the time that have competent leadership that turn it around quickly. We're seeing that this year with several teams in the NFL.
Finally.
With new regimes.
Jets, Giants, finally.
But again, you can tell me the Jets suck all you want.
They
but
do, and so do the Giants.
They got a second-year head coach and a fourth-year general manager. The Giants have a first-year head coach.
I'm just saying it took them a long time to get to that situation.
Yeah,
the Jets haven't won anything since they joined the NFL.
Maz, you keep saying that, but we're not. But I understand that, and it's facts that the Lions, the Jets, and the Giants have been connected at the hip, minus some championships by the New York Football Giants. They've sucked in the last 10 years too. But guess what? 1 year coach with Brian Daboll, they figured it out in terms of how to win. Look at the offense of the New York Giants. They are not better than the offense of the Detroit Lions. But here they are sitting at 6-1 because they're putting their guys in good positions and they're getting the best from their defensive coordinator who knows what the hell he's doing.
Bray. They have Saquon Barkley and he's playing every week.
That's one player on offense.
Yeah, he's the whole offense.
He's one player on
offense. And Daniel Jones is getting better because of Saquon Barkley. God forbid we have a freaking running back that stays on the field. God forbid.
All I'm saying is that Brian Daboll, no matter how long the Giants, it took them to get to this point, Brian Daboll in year 1 is 6-1. I mean, it's 6-1. Robert Saleh in year 2 is 5-2 now. I don't care about the history. They all have histories, but here we are, year 2 with the Jets and the Lions, and here we are in year 1 with Brian Daboll. He's sitting 6-1. You want to give me this about Saquon Barkley? Saquon Barkley is playing behind an offensive line that has not been the same since the season started, much like the Detroit Lions. Look at the wide receivers. You can't name me anybody as a wide receiver on that offensive Giant team. You talking about Daniel Jones? Daniel Jones has struggled all year, but he runs the ball, he runs with the football, and they play off Saquon Barkley. I understand that, but they're still 6-1. They're not fully 6-1 because of Saquon Barkley. He is a very intricate piece to that.
You want to know how you win? I just told you. You run the ball. Jets had Breece Hall. He's their MVP. The poor kid goes down. So what did? They went out and they get James Robinson. Yeah, banged up last year, but had a very good first start here with the Jags. Jags got Etienne now, so they were able to let Robinson go for a freaking 6th round pick. You're going to tell me the Lions couldn't have gone out in the last few weeks and maybe gotten somebody to spell DeAndre Swift? I don't think Jamal Williams was the answer. Sorry.
Maz, guess who has to make that decision? Your head coach and your GM.
Your GM.
They have to make that. That's on the head coach, too. You don't think the head coach can't go in the office and say, look, Brad, this is what I need if I want to have some success. You can tell me all you want to about the running game of the New York Jets and the New York Giants, but what you should talk about is Brian Daboll and the job he's doing as a head coach. I know you love Dan Campbell, and that's fine, but let's call a fact a fact. Brian Daboll is the reason why they're 6-1. Dan Campbell is part of the reason why the Detroit Lions are 1-5.
Let's talk about Brad Holmes for a minute here, Lions general manager. NFL trade deadline is on Tuesday. Would you like to see him do something bold? Would you like to see him do a Troy Weaver? Because I think Troy Weaver does bold stuff.
Fleece Weaver?
Yeah. I think Troy Weaver would be out there at trade deadline wheeling and dealing, making his team better. What is Brad Holmes going to do to make the Detroit Lions a better football team in 2023? How is he going to set them up for the recent future? How can he do that now? Any ideas?
Ask Maz.
Maz, you got any ideas?
Hey, there was a guy, Brian Burns, out in Carolina, but it looks like they want more than 2 first-round picks for him. I'm not doing that. He's not doing anything. Let's face it. They didn't sign anyone in the offseason. Braylon's already gone through that. He's got his plan. He's looked like this. This is his plan. That's it. He's not going off anything except this plan. That's what he's doing. If he makes a trade, I'll be shocked.
I'm with Maz, and the reason why is every time I bring up trying to make a move, it's oh, we don't have any money. Oh, they don't have any money. Oh, they can't do this. Oh, and sounds familiar. That's Neil Rue. They don't have any money. They can't do this. It's a plan. The plan is a long plan. It's a 4-year plan. Our plan is to bring guys in through the draft. So if that's what you're telling me, then why get a guy? Why waste a first-round pick if your draft capital is so important? Why waste a second-round pick, which you don't have? Why waste a third-round pick on, hey, let's bring this guy in? You're not going to win this year. You're 1-5. You'll be 1-7 soon, then 1-8. Maybe you'll sneak 2-8, and then whatever. You're not going to be a good football team this year. So why bring a guy in unless it's just somebody that you have to have, unless it's a piece that you know you're going to need and it doesn't cost you much? And I don't see that happening in free agent. Guys that are making moves around here, they're teams that have a chance to win this year. They're teams that have a chance to win right freaking now. And the Detroit Lions, pains me to say it, but they're not one of those teams, and they may not be for a while.
Here's a trade for you. I've got one. What about, and I don't believe the Bucs have a first, second, or even third round pick. They don't have a first, second, third, or even fifth round pick. But what about?
But they have a Super Bowl.
But they do have a Super Bowl. What about trading T.J. Hawkinson to the Bucs?
For what?
For what, a fifth-round
pick?
For
a fourth-round pick.
I don't want a fourth-round
pick. What do you want for What do you think T.J. Hawkinson is going to get you? Because you're not going to re-sign him.
But let me ask you this question, and this is one of those questions that I always want to ask fans, not even necessarily the front office as fans.
That would make me sick, by the way.
You're trading a guy in the start of this year that you told me was a number five tight end.
Who said that?
In the NFL.
Not me.
Pro Football Focus, NFL.com, ESPN.com.
Fantasy football.
T.J. Hawkinson is no lower than 7 on every rank before the season. Even now, you can look at ranks. T.J. Hawkinson's still in the top 10.
Okay.
So you mean to tell me you're going to trade a guy that was preseason number 5 for a fourth-round pick? What is that fourth-round pick going to do you in a league in which the tight end spot has become more and more prevalent? You look at the teams that win, I can tell you who their tight end is. I can tell you how good their tight end is. So if you're going to get rid of T.J. Hawkinson, it damn sure better not be for a fourth-round pick.
Well, I got Brock Wright, and I got this kid James Mitchell that we burned a fifth-round pick on.
And you got Shane Zylstra, number 84.
And I'm just saying, you're not going to re-sign this kid. You're not going to re-sign Hawkinson. So you're going to trade him. If you're going to trade him, you're going to trade him to a team that they believe they're a contender. I believe the Bucs would say they're a contender. And that's just the one off the top of my head. I guess I would have to go through and
I'm sorry, the Broncos have Bradley Chubb up on the market.
Yeah.
And Jerry Jeudy, by the way.
Jerry Judy's going.
But
to
I don't
Cowboys.
care about Denver. I care about the Detroit Lions right now, and I'm trying to how to make the Lions better.
They need a tight end.
And how would you?
What position would you focus on?
Get an ad. Well, who's legitimately the only player that somebody would want off the Lions, and somebody that the Lions would be willing to part with? That list is
slim.
Less than a handful of guys, maybe even less than 2 fingers.
Would you get rid of? Would you play DeAndre Swift this week? Have him have a good game and then get rid of him on Monday?
I would not get rid of DeAndre Swift because
why not?
He's such a dynamic player. I would hold out hope that he can somehow, some way stay healthy.
That ain't happening.
I'd rather trust T.J. Hawkinson and rework his deal than bank on DeAndre Swift.
Hey, there's a rumor out there. I read it yesterday on ESPN.com. They put out the most tradable players on all 32 teams. Guess who they put for the Lions?
Jared Goff.
Amani-Oruwariye.
Yeah.
That's who they put.
I wouldn't give up on him either.
He was in the Pro Bowl.
You know, I wouldn't give up on him either. Anyway, if you've got a thought on how you would get the Detroit Lions, they just make you scratch your head, don't they?
You want to trade for a quarterback, a little backup quarterback? You want one of them?
No.
You want to stay with Tim Boyle.
That's not a bad idea, though. I mean, if there was a decent backup quarterback on the market, you're gonna even next year when you get your quarterback, you're still gonna need a backup quarterback.
Veteran.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
Where's Ryan Fitzpatrick?
Maybe they could trade for David Blau.
Get him out of the Amazon booth.
He's not that good.
Guys, let's come right back. A little Michigan State talk. It is game week here. We'll let you know how you can sit front row for the Michigan State game momentarily. But first, a message from Custom Health Centers, Maz. I think we're going to do it.
We are.
Custom Health Centers. The summer left you feeling a little bit chubby. Yeah, me too.
Every season.
Custom Health Centers takes the willpower out of weight loss. Whether you need to lose 20 or 120 pounds, Custom Health Centers will help you do it quickly and safely. Go to CustomHealthCenters.com, CustomHealthCenters.com, or give them a call today, 844-789-THIN. That number again, 844-789-THIN.
Woodward Sports is giving you another chance to sit front row, this time at the Detroit versus Green Bay game. Think you have the best Dan Campbell impression?
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Can you say man with the best of them?
I got it. Here's what I need, man. I need you to trust me. I swear to God, I'm not a lunatic. I swear to you.
Can you say, let's go for it on 4th down?
Man, I got a plan, I swear to you. All I think about is you guys. That's all I think about, man.
Are you a master motivator?
That's all I think about is you guys.
Show us in a video. Record your best Dan Campbell impression and post the video on Twitter or Instagram using hashtag Woodward Front Row. We'll select the best 3 impersonations of Motor City Dan Campbell and send you and a guest front row. So knock the dust off the old sweatpants, light some kneecaps, and enter today. And as always, go Lions, man.
I just need you to trust me. That's all. Please.
I don't care if I got one toe, 2 butt cheeks, and a rock.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to ChiliPeppersTanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Are you looking to buy, sell, or invest in a home? Then guess what? Mike Phillips is the guy for you. He's number one. You know why? Because he's been doing it for 23 years. Your family, your home, your investment is his top priority. But guess what? Tomorrow, my man, Ryan Ermanni, Tom Mazawey, the crew, the gang, we will be at Mike Phillips and Keller Williams Dearborn, hanging out, having a little fun out there. And even afterwards, we'll hang out, sign some autographs, and do a little trunk or treat if you dare. Should be a lot of fun, but going back to it, Mike Phillips knows what he is doing. So whether you're a fan, whether you're a player, doesn't matter. Getting his game on is his top priority for you. The number is 313-403-0011. Game on.
Both schools, everybody's, choosing sides, and everyone is like, I believe that there's a respect factor when in the best rivalries. There's a respect factor, even though there is an element of dislike and hatred. There's still, an underlying respect deal just because of the rivalry itself and what it means in sports.
And that was Michigan State head coach Mel Tucker talking about the Michigan State game. Big game this week. By the way, you can sit front row for this game. All you have to do is come to the Planet Fitness, newly renovated Planet Fitness here in Sterling Heights on 18 Mile Road and Ryan. That's where we are broadcasting live from. Planet Fitness, home of the judgment-free zone, where you can work out in a non-intimidating judgment-free atmosphere. So if you come here before 4 o'clock today, you're 18 years old or older. Oh, God, I'm going to tear a trap. And you just let us know.
What is that, 12 pounds?
Oh, gosh. No.
6 and 6?
Oh, gosh. If you just let us know how much weight in pounds, free weights, dumbbells,
10,
medicine balls, how much weight is here total in pounds, let us know. and the person who's closest without going over will win front row tickets to the Michigan State football game this Saturday.
It's just tickets to the game, not front row. Front row is our Lions thing. All right, front row. There we go.
Does that say front row tickets to the Michigan State game?
I guess
front row tickets to the Michigan State game this Saturday.
Okay.
If that's not accurate, let me know before the end of the show. I can only read what I have in front of me.
We're going to get you in the game.
Thank you very much. Either way, thanks. All I do is read what's in front of me.
I got you, pal.
Ron Burgundy over there.
Yeah, very good.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
We know you're going to get a Planet Fitness black card for 1 year as well. Braylon, Michigan State week. It is a week that is near and dear to us, near and dear to you. What were you doing earlier today?
Oh, man, I was hanging out over there at Lineage Logistics out in Novi, hanging out. They were doing a little meet and greet Q&A session with a Michigan guy and a Michigan State guy for their employees. And I had the privilege to share stage with a guy that I do often, and that is Bad Moon Rising, a.k.a. Andre Rising, All-American wide receiver at Michigan State and, Pro Bowl player in the NFL at the receiver position for Kansas City, Cleveland, a couple other squads. A lot of fun, man. It's a fun time of year. This is a fun week, state of Michigan. The weather's just right. The leaves are falling off the tree. It's starting to get a little ugly outside. We know it's going to be a rainy trick-or-treat on Monday, much like it is every year since the 80s. But it's just the great thing that I learned about this rivalry, the great thing you remember is there's a lot of respect in person on both sides. Now, yes, there are trolls on the internet. They troll you all the time, Ryan. They troll myself.
Nobody trolls me.
Lies and fabrications. They troll us on the internet. They troll Michigan fans. Well, Michigan has their fair share of trolls on the internet. Everyone has trolls, but in person, there seems to be a lot of respect on both sides of the ball, so that's always good during this fun week.
Without question, Maz, I know you're excited about the week.
I am. I like what Blake Corum said yesterday to the media. He's like, hey, look, they asked him, what's going to get you going? Do you need bulletin board material? He says, I don't need bulletin board material. I just want to go and win the game. I think winning this game is enough. And these kids are well coached. They know what they're doing. They ain't going to be anybody running out and trying to get in a fight with the Spartans at midfield. They're just going to play this game, and the best team's going to win.
Speaking of bulletin board material, Angelique Shingalis, our good friend for the Detroit News, had a really interesting piece today in the Detroit News on DebtNews.com about Mike Hart. And, it's really his words that really stoked the rivalry and took it to the next level, specifically under Mark D'Antonio. Pride comes before the fall. Maz, you mentioned that yesterday. But just the point of, if you go back to when Mike Hart was playing, he never lost to Michigan.
And that's why I have a problem with the comment.
You never lost to Michigan State. So it was an era in which just go look at the amount when you go to the Wikipedia page of Michigan.
It's a lot of L's on the Michigan State side.
It is maize for much of
the 80s and 90s and 2000s.
Ridiculous, no doubt about it. So it was really a good piece today.
Yeah, I can't wait to read it. That is Angelique Chingalis, according to Maz, the angel of the big house. It's one of those things where, look, man, Mike made the comment because that's exactly what was going on. We didn't lose to Michigan State. Maybe they got close a couple times, but you never thought that you were going to lose that game. That's why he made the comment. Then Lloyd Carr disappears. You insert Rich Rodriguez, and the rest is history. But that's water under the bridge. We understand what they've been doing in the last 14 years. I mean, the last 10 years. They won, 4 of 10 or the last 14, whatever it is. We haven't won. We haven't won. Michigan has not won. Last year they played a damn good game, and they still lost to Michigan State. So Blake Corum and those guys, they don't need the bulletin board material. They don't need Michigan State guys saying anything. They don't need a Mel Tucker to come out and say anything. You don't need them to say anything because you know what this game represents. You know what you haven't been able to do. We talked about it yesterday. Michigan goes 11-3. They go to the playoffs. They win the Big Ten, all that stuff. But guess what? That one of those blemishes, the one that hurts the most, they lost to Michigan State in the bid to be 12-0 and win the Big Ten outright at 13-0. They didn't get it done. They're still thinking about that. They don't need bulletin board because just the hurt of 365, thinking about losing to a team that you think is not better than you, that's motivation enough.
Part of that newspaper write-up, or however you want to call it, piece, whatever they call it, Peace. Yeah. Angelique reflected back on a 2015 interview she did with Mike Hart. 2015 now. At this point, he was a Western Michigan assistant coach, and he's in his second year as running backs coach at Michigan. Maybe some of you don't know that. I don't know. But he did admit it was a mistake. He said it was a mistake. He said, look, I was 21 years old. I was young. I was 4-0 against them. Looking back on it, it was a mistake. But it was said Michigan State ran with it, and I think for the most part, Michigan fans have run with it. I have run with it for a long time, too. I have felt like that was, when Michigan State kind of turned the tide and started beating Michigan, 4 out of 5 years, 7 out of 10. You always felt like you still had that as a clapback.
Yeah, Mike, I wish Mike wouldn't have said that. I wish he wouldn't have taken it back. He only took it back because once you get into the world of coaching, it becomes political. You want to say all the right things, do all the right things. You want people to look at you and say, oh, my, look at the growth in that young man. That's a guy that I can see being the head coach at University of Michigan someday. So he was smart to say it, but I disagree. Like, Michigan is and always will be the little brother. I don't care what the record shows. I don't care that they lost, that they won last year. I don't care that they won the year before that. Michigan State, based on the history, if you go back from the history from 1898, which is the very first time Michigan played Michigan State, from 1898 to now, you look at that score, you look at the mentality that Michigan has versus Michigan State, they always will be little brother. It is what it is. It's as simple as that.
Guys, big game on Saturday, but speaking of games, the college football schedule came out in the Big Ten next season. We will get to that next, but first, a message from Swiss Insurance.
All right. Swiss Insurance Group and their employees are heavily involved in the community. It is very rewarding, but with that reward comes great responsibility. If you sit on a local youth sports board, homeowners association, or volunteer coach, directors and officers, the insurance is a must. Make sure the kids are insured. Make sure the parents and volunteers are protected. That's what the Swiss Insurance Group and my man Mark do. They make sure the community is protected as well as the family. In the words of my man at LSU, Brian Kelly, it's all about the family.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1, what's your why? More epic energy, better sleep, blow off steam? Step 2, join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3, bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991. Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Man, you could win front row tickets. This is a fact. Front row tickets to see Detroit and Green Bay live at Ford Field. All you got to do to enter is record a video of your best Dan Campbell impersonation. Post it on Twitter or Instagram with the hashtag Woodward Front Row. Got to make sure you're following Woodward Sports as well. We're going to select 3 winners. They're going to get 2 tickets apiece for their best Dan Campbell impersonation. That's right, 3 sets of tickets to sit in the front row for Green Bay and Detroit. We pick our winner November the 4th. So hurry up and enter today.
All right, guys, welcome back. WoodwardSports.com. We certainly appreciate everybody in the WoodwardSports.com chat. We are broadcasting to you live from the newly renovated Planet Fitness on 18 Mile Road and Ryan.
It is beautiful in here.
Sterling Heights. Braylon, the Big Ten football schedule came out today for next year, 2023. Michigan's schedule's out. And I'm sorry, I'm going to read this off my phone. 7 home games this year. They're non-conference versus ECU. Oh, there you go. We got it. East Carolina, UNLV, and then Bowling Green. How about that for a non-conference schedule? And look, we can talk about it till we're blue in the face. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Hey, that's tougher than they played this year, at least.
Yeah, very good.
All right.
They are home against Ohio State at the end of the year, on the road at Michigan State and at Penn State. Minnesota might be, Minnesota might be a tough one, perhaps. So they play Purdue and Minnesota this year. They did not play Minnesota this year.
No, they did not. And they get the first 4 games at home again. So the first month at home again. I don't know how they do that, but they do it.
Conversely, do we have the Spartans?
We do.
Let's check out the Spartans. They play Washington at home. That is their non-conference game that they play at home. But this is their Big Ten schedule.
That's what they put up.
The Big Ten schedule has them hosting Michigan, Nebraska, Penn State, and Maryland. They, too, are on the road at Ohio State. Will travel to Iowa, Minnesota, Rutgers, and Indiana are the Michigan State Spartans. And, again, Bray, they play Central Michigan. I don't even know who the logo is.
Let me see. Dude.
Is that a spider?
I don't know, but you died, whatever that is.
It might be Richmond. Is that a spider? The Richmond
is that a spider? Who do they play?
Man,
what is that?
It looks like a paint spot. It's a wet spot.
Right.
It's a Michigan State playing a paint spot.
But at least they play Washington.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I don't care. Look, man, Michigan can play whoever they want to play in their opening schedule. It's all about getting to the playoffs. They're going to play Ohio State at some point at the end. They're going to play Ohio State at the end of every year. Ohio State's going to have 1 or no losses at the end of every year. Penn State might be a better team next year. It's in Happy Valley. That should be a good road victory for the pundits. And then Michigan State, pray to God they're better next year. So that'll be a better win. But it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the goal is to get to the Big Ten Championship, win the Big Ten Championship, and get to a playoff game. And if that schedule is a schedule that provides you with the best opportunity, the best run to do so, then do it. The only thing that worries me is when you play against teams that have a harder road or it's a tougher schedule. You look at the SEC. The SEC this year is a much better conference than everybody top to bottom. At least usually the Big Ten, we can kind of compare apples to oranges or say, well, this team could beat that team. This is a year in which the SEC completely dominates every other team, every other conference. So playing against these teams and having played tune-up games against Illinois, Nebraska, Rutgers, and the list goes on, that might be potentially scary when you're playing in a playoff game. But other than that, I have no problem with the schedule.
Hey, Sparty opens up with the Chippewas, the Richmond Spiders, and Washington. Then Maryland, Iowa, their bye week. Rutgers, Michigan, Minnesota, Nebraska, Ohio State, and Indiana. And they finish up again with Penn State. Looks like that's like a running thing now, huh? Last game of the year against Penn State.
Until UCLA and USC enter the chat.
Yep. Hey, Ohio State gets Indiana to open. Then they get Youngstown State, and they get Western Kentucky, and they get Notre Dame. That's their first 4.
Yeah, Notre Dame might be a little bit better next year, perhaps.
That's pretty tough.
But I mean,
Ohio State's been doing that for a second now, opening up against a Big Ten team and then coming right back into like 2 non-conference games. I think this year was Minnesota, or last year was Minnesota. The year before that was Indiana. The year before that, Indiana almost beat them. Actually, that was the Michael Penix Jr. coming out party, if you will.
How about Rutgers? They open up with Northwestern, then Temple, Vatech, and Michigan.
I don't know. This might be the dumbest thing I've ever said in my life, but this Michigan State week does not feel like a Michigan State week to me. Am I the only one? Maybe it's the night game. Maybe it's the fact that Michigan State is not very good. Maybe it's the fact that I really believe Michigan State has no chance to win the football game, like 0. Last year I never considered that they would beat Michigan, but I knew in the back of my mind they had a chance to beat Michigan. I don't think they have I don't think that, look, any given Saturday, sure, I guess, but I don't believe they've got a chance to beat Michigan. The only thing you're worried about is by how much they're going to beat them by. You don't hear a lot from the other side because they know Michigan's going to blow them out on Saturday. You've got the night game dynamic.
It's one of those years where it
doesn't feel like
flat.
it.
It's definitely flat. There's no doubt about it.
Do you feel that, Bray, or not really?
I don't feel anything. I wouldn't even know that this is Michigan State week.
Yeah, there you go.
Unless we were talking about it. Obviously, I got my gnome up here, so maybe maybe Noam knows. But other than that, man, you look at Michigan State. Michigan State's not a very good football team this year. A lot of questions about their offense, their defense, their head coach, like a lot of that. This isn't the same year. And you know what Michigan State fans do when their team isn't good? They walk into this week very quietly, and they're looking for an upset. They're like, hey, you know what? You guys should beat us. That's the conversation you got in Michigan State when Michigan's not that good. Even when Michigan sucks, we still expect to be Michigan State. So it's still stuff that comes off our side. This year, it's very quiet. I noticed my neighbors aren't wearing true Michigan State colors. I noticed the flags aren't flying all around. I've been seeing less and less bumper stickers in that West Bloomfield / Commerce area. You don't see all that. So they're quiet. They're walking us into this quiet death trap that they're praying to God they upset us so they can start talking stuff. That's what the reality is. When Michigan State doesn't believe they're good, they're very quiet and they wait for the upset. Unlike Michigan, even if we don't think we're good, we still will give you stuff the whole way to Saturday, including when the game is over. So that's what it is. And it's a night game.
You know, prior to 2008, when Mark D'Antonio took over, I think more games felt like this one than last year.
That's because he was a badass. He was a grouchy guy he wanted to beat, and he wanted to beat the living daylights out of Michigan. No, but, he would sell his soul to beat Michigan.
But what I'm trying to say is, prior to Mark D'Antonio coming and having an elongated success against Michigan and really building a brand there for Michigan State, and not to where Michigan State wasn't a good team. They were a good program under Mark D'Antonio, and I think those are two different things. Look, Michigan State had a great year. I think it was, what was it, 87, the 88 Rose Bowl. 88 Rose Bowl. You know, that was a great team, but were they a great program back then? Because if you go back through it, I mean, they won 2 games in the 80s. They won 4 games in the 90s. But in the 80s and 90s, they won, 6 games.
Yeah, even with that, I still think that it was a rivalry. I still think that this was something like it was never like this. Even when I was at Michigan, hell, look, Michigan, we were better than Michigan State every year that I was there, but it still was a dogfight. With the exception of obviously the Bobby Williams game, 49-3. But in 2003, we win by 7. In 2004, we go to triple overtime, we win overtime. So the game always came down to the wire, whether Michigan State started off hot, whether we started off hot, whether Michigan State got hot late. There was always something. There always was a level of, oh, shoot, here we go. In the Michigan State game, Michigan just seemed to always come up on the winning side.
And there's no doubt about that. I guess what I'm trying to say is, prior to Mark D'Antonio coming to Michigan State and building a program and building a brand in which he really set the tone for this Michigan game, they have won 10 of the last 14. You cannot dispute those numbers. But I'm saying prior to that, Michigan always expected to beat Michigan State. More weeks felt like this one than felt like last year when there was that anxiety about these two Goliaths going head-to-head against each other. Last year was special. The rivalry since D'Antonio has been there has been special. But growing up, for me, this was not even a thought that Michigan State could beat you. And it's now they have won games over the course of again. I'm talking about prior to 2008. More weeks have felt like this one to me than not.
But you could take that a step further and say that more weeks. You can take that a step further and say everybody outside Ohio State, it felt that way. I tell you this, I don't know if people really pay attention when I say this. I only lost to 2 schools when I was in college. I lost to Iowa, lost to Ohio State. Just think about all the Big Ten games I played in 4 years. Never lost to Illinois. Never lost to Purdue. Never lost to Wisconsin. Never lost, and the list goes on. Northwestern and the list goes on. I never lost. So I think that conversation is why they said back in the day it was Ohio State or it was Michigan. Cut the deck. Nobody else. Every once in a while, an Iowa will sneak and beat a Michigan, or a Penn State will beat a Michigan. But on a regular basis, Michigan and Ohio State were winning all their games against Big Ten opponents.
All right, we're going to go around.
And Ohio State seems to still be doing so.
Absolutely. Yeah, Ohio State. And look, when
except Iowa and Purdue.
And I'm hoping more years feel like last year for the Michigan-Ohio State game than over the last 20 years, no doubt about that. Guys, we're going to take a break, come right back. We'll go around the NFL. We'll do it next, but first a message from SMA.
The Sports Marketing Agency helps spread awareness about substance abuse disorder as well as mental health. And actually, their podcast, this is the S word, and the S word stands for stigma because we're trying to destigmatize mental health. That means we're trying to give you the conversations, the information that you can value about anxiety, about depression, and other forms of mental health. Look, it is okay to not be okay. But when that's the case, you got to know where to go to get the information so that you can get better. Go to thesportsma.com. Sean Jordan does an amazing job with Sports Marketing Agency. So go there, get the info you need, and know that it's okay to not be okay.
The biggest rivalry in the state is almost here. That means one thing, the biggest tailgate party in the state. Join Woodward Sports for our tailgate takeover before the U of M versus State game on October 29th. Will Harbaugh and the boys pull out the win? Or is Tuck still coming? We will find out at the Big House. Michigan legend Braylon Edwards will be handing out food, prizes, and much more. So no matter what team you root for, come party with the network that does it best. The Woodward Sports Network. The tailgate takeover, powered by Custom Health Centers, Syntron, and Planet Fitness.
Woodward Sports, you see the name!
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play. And before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Thank you to all the fans for making Woodward Sports your #1 online destination for Detroit sports. We promise not to drop the ball.
Hey, everybody, get a free Woodward Sports T-shirt. That's right, a free Woodward Sports T-shirt all month long at Big Frog in Novi. Make sure you tell them we sent you. They will print you one up right there on the spot. So go to Big Frog Novi today and get your free T-shirt or visit them online at bigfrog.com/Novi.
All right, we are live from the Planet Fitness. Braylon, you love this place.
Yeah, man, it's an amazing place. Something about walking into a gym, like it just feels good. It's like, yo, it's go time. It's time to get on these machines, get the body right, get feeling good. You walk out feeling amazing. You often want to come back. But then when you walk into a gym like Planet Fitness, where it's just so clean, and you got the gold and the purple colors, man. It's like seeing the Qs when I was in college, and the Qs were crazy, big swole guys, man. This is where you come to get in shape, man. Planet Fitness, man, it's clean. They do it right, make you feel good. It's a good place.
Tom Mazawey, what do you know about coming into the gym?
I think I would just get a membership here. Just for the men's room. I mean, the locker room is amazing.
It's like a club.
It's a club.
It is comfortable.
The massage chairs, it's worth the money just for that alone. And then once in a while, I'll maybe hop on one of these things here. What do you call these things over here?
Ellipticals.
Yes. I saw some 85-year-old man on there before doing about 30 miles an hour.
It's so funny. When I used to train at, let's say, another gym, this is years ago, another gym, there used to be the same guy. You walk into the locker room, walk into the lounge, had the TVs up, etc. Same guy in the same chair, same guy in the sauna. Like this guy, I never would see this guy in the actual gym itself. I never would see this guy on the basketball court. I would never see this guy in the racquetball court. I only saw this guy in the sauna, in the steam, on the couch, and walking out of the shower. And oh, by the way, I don't know what age it is, you guys. Stop wearing towels. But I don't like that, but I hate it.
Oh, man.
You know there's a certain
you gotta wear
age.
towel. You got to wear the
It's
towel.
like 68 or something where you just say F it.
You see Maz walking around.
No, thank you. Mike. I didn't want it to go that far off the rails.
Hey, speaking of Tom Mazawey, we go around the NFL. Let's do it right now.
You better have the robe on.
Hey, buddy. Hey, let's get it started. Pro Football Focus. We show it to you every week. Their power rankings. You know what the Lions are. They dropped all the way down to number 32. So your NFL power rankings on Pro Football Focus. There you go. And the Seahawks moving on up as well.
I mean, that's not all bad. I mean, the good thing about it is you still have season left to get better, get players back, but you also are now organically the right way losing games so that you can get your quarterback that everybody keeps talking about last year and this year. You'll have a couple chances at a couple different quarterbacks. Being down there keeps you in the ball game.
Look at the Rams. They dropped down.
I'm going to ask you guys a question based on these power rankings. What team on the right side of this power ranking has the best opportunity to make the playoffs? Because I am looking at one, and I believe they are going to make the playoffs. They're on the right side.
Number 24.
I got two.
Okay.
And I know which one yours is, though.
What is it?
Yours is probably the Raiders.
Yep.
I figure yours is the Raiders. The other one I would go with is the Browns. I would go with the Raiders, the Browns, and even the Broncos are still in it because their defense is that damn good. But if you just want to go with one,
Raiders, give me one.
Just one?
It's got to be the Rams.
It's got to be the Raiders.
Yeah. Rams and Raiders.
I'm going Broncos.
Because
let's ride.
I think the Rams are really in for a world of hurt. I don't like their team at all.
I hope you're right.
I don't like their team at all, and I think the San Francisco 49ers, sans this week, we all three said Buffalo was going to beat the San Francisco 49ers this week.
Chiefs.
Or the Chiefs, sorry, the Chiefs, you're right. Yeah. We all called the Chiefs game. They were going to beat the 49ers, but I think the 49ers are set up. I think the 49ers are going to be the NFC representative in the Super Bowl. That's how I feel about the 49ers, so I think they're definitely going to win the NFC West. Will the Rams win enough games to get a 9-8 into the playoffs? I just don't think they're going to get
Seattle
there.
Playing like the way that they're playing. You can't forget about that. And also, you look at the Arizona Cardinals, getting DeAndre Hopkins back, getting some guys back. That'll be an interesting division to be tough, kind of like it was last year. I just look at the Broncos, and I know we crack a lot of jokes about my former teammate and Russell Wilson. Rightfully so. He is struggling like no other. Nathaniel Hackett actually saved him by letting him sit last week, rest that hamstring. But the thing about it is their defense is so freaking phenomenal, man. They're talking about guys, they've held opponents to under 20 points in every game this year. Every game this year, they got teams, they're under 20 points. Patrick Surtain is playing like a brain shot.
But they're able to score more than 9.
But at the end of the day, you can't tell me that it's not going to pop. One of you guys' biggest things to talk about, it's got to happen. It's going to happen.
Well,
it's bound to happen. If you look at how good that defense is, and you look at that offense, you look at Jerry Jeudy can play, Sutton can play, Hamler can play. You look at Melvin Gordon, got to hold on to the damn football, but Melvin Gordon can play. So, and then you bring in Lamar Murray. So I just got to think at some point Russell Wilson will be able to get it right because their defense consistently puts them in good situations.
Unless they trade Bradley Chubb.
Now, if they trade Bradley Chubb, that'd be
all
a
bets
huge
are
blow.
off.
But
and Judy.
I just think because their very true. But because their defense keeps them in good situations, like eventually you're like, all right, I can score a touchdown or two. I just think eventually has to happen.
All right, let's move on. Don't forget the Cardinals get Hard Knocks as well in a couple of weeks. They get the midseason Hard Knocks.
No, I'm not interested.
No, I'm not hating on you. I hate Kingsbury. Kyler Murray, you know what you're going to get. What am I really watching for?
How about those Jets? I told you about it earlier. A couple days ago, they make a great trade for James Robinson. This guy could run, man, and he had a great start of the season. Yeah, he had an injury last year, but it looks like the Jets went out. Joe Douglas, he sees Breece Hall go down, and, well, Michael Carter's your other back. He didn't want to give it all to him, so he got himself a little thunder and lightning. James Robinson now a New York Jet.
At least you give your team a chance now, right? I mean, if you're the general manager and you're the head coach, you at least put your franchise, your team in a position to win football games. You got a really nice player there, Bray. And you got an injury, it's not next man up. It's let's go get somebody.
Hey, look, man, I know a little something about going to the New York Jets during the middle of the season, man. Like, when this doesn't happen often. Like, being 5-2, they're 3 games ahead of 500. You never know when your time is going to be. You never know when your time is to, get to the playoff.
You know what time it is.
Yeah, but you never know when your time is to sneak into a playoff. I mean, look at the year that I get traded to the Jets. The Jets are 3-1, I think, when I get traded there. We lose 2 in a row. We sneak into the wild card. We beat the number 2 team, which is the San Diego Chargers at the time. Then we get to the AFC Championship. We're leading at halftime. We're leading the AFC at halftime, and we snuck in there. So you never know when your time is going to be. So if it's like this, you got to go out and make moves.
All right, how about Frank Clark? I know this was from last year, but the NFL suspends him for 2 games for violating the personal conduct rule there. So
and it
Frank
took
Clark
that long?
Kansas City, yeah, because I think he what do you call it?
He pleaded no contest last year, but you got to wait till the due process happens. And once the case is finalized and the finality hit 2 days, the finality hit yesterday, where it said, hey, look, this was the final ruling. You can't suspend somebody until the final ruling. So although he knew last year, you can't suspend it until the actual final rule, or the ruling is final.
Look for Patrick Mahomes to bail him out by throwing probably 6 touchdown passes over the next 2 weeks.
I'm glad I'm not playing Final Sam in fantasy again.
Hey, Aaron Rodgers had some strong words for his whole team, not just his wide receivers, but he basically went out and he said, hey, look, anyone that's not playing up to their capabilities is going to start losing plays. You're going to start losing reps. What do you think of Aaron Rodgers stepping up and calling it for what it is, I guess?
I like that, but at the same time, you only got so many guys, right? I mean, he's alienated himself from his teammates as it is. I think instead of going this route, say, hey, let's go put some work in. Let's go. The season's not dead. Let's go put some work in. I don't like Aaron Rodgers. I understand you call these guys out, but what I'm saying is I understand calling these guys out, but they don't have any. But Randall Cobb is out with an injury now. You got rid of Devontae Adams. Valdez-Scantling is catching passes for Patrick Mahomes now.
Smart man.
So, I mean, you don't have anywhere else to go.
What I would say to this is this.
Unless they trade for Jerry Jeudy.
I agree with you, Ryan, in this matter, that I actually don't mind it. The problem is I mind that it's coming from Aaron Rodgers. He's a guy that has not hung out with his teammates outside the offensive lineman. He's a guy that you just never know. It always seems like it's about Aaron Rodgers. He won't talk to the reporters or won't talk to the guys, but he will talk to A.J. Hawk and Pat McAfee. You got to go a different route, man. Like, Aaron, you want to be a leader. You want to get this thing back on track because you're still in the NFC North. I got the Minnesota Vikings winning it, but the NFC North still goes through Lambeau Field, much like Winterfell. If I'm Aaron Rodgers, do something different, man. I'm getting the guys together. I'm saying, hey, look, I'm going to take you guys out. We're going to do a team bonding experience. I'm going to have some guys over to my mansion in Green Bay. We're going to come over and kick it and just have some drinks and just talk. Maybe I get
I don't know if he could afford it. He's only making $50 million.
Exactly. But you got to do something. You got to do something different. You got to get guys on board. You got to say, hey, you know what? Maybe we get away from football. It's not always about X's and O's. It's not always about after practice stuff in terms of how you build with a team. Sometimes it's just like, look, let's just drop football together. Come to the crib. We'll have some drinks and we'll talk, man, and we'll just talk amongst each other like brothers. Talk amongst each other as friends, guys that have same paths, guys that, how did you get here? What was your journey to the Packers? There's ways in which to go about this. Problem is he doesn't have any experience being a leader. You can't lead when you don't know how.
Well, they got to catch the ball, too, as well. So that's all he gives.
That'd help.
Catch the ball. He puts it out there. No one's catching it. So there you go. Let's talk about a guy that's starting to catch some footballs.
He sucks as a leader, though.
Juju Smith-Schuster. We've been talking about it, how he's not fitting in Kansas City. He's like, no, man, we are starting to gel, and there's one reason that they're gelling. Listen to Juju.
I'm going to tell you what got us the chemistry, what we needed this game. It was me, Pat, Travis, and MVS. We were playing Call of Duty together. So we're on the same team, right? There's 4 of us. There's 64 people on this map. It's called Rebirth Island. We all land in. You could just tell, the communication between all of us and, the chemistry was just it was like we were in the game. Travis behind you, Pat, he's behind you. He's in the storm. We won 3 games back-to-back. And we got off. We was like, damn, kind of just led into this game and kind of just showed on the field.
See that, Maz? I just said you have to try something different to build. Like I said, you're like, they got to catch the damn ball. I saw Travis Kelce drop a touchdown pass when they lost to Buffalo. I saw Valdez-Scantling and Juju Smith-Schuster drop passes. I saw Patrick Mahomes Nah, Patrick Mahomes has done nothing wrong. But they tried something different, and it's bonded them. That's all I was saying. Sometimes you got to do different stuff. And then doing that video game, like I don't play those video games because I suck. But you see guys, man, like my boy Max, man, he plays NBA 2K with Steve Breston and some of our friends, Ryan Mundy from Michigan. They play every day. They know everything about each other. Those guys are connected at the hip. Like their chemistry is unique. Same thing in the video game. I'm not telling Aaron Rodgers to get his ass out there and go play Call of Duty, but do something different.
No, and I understand where you're coming from on that. I would say that there isn't a player on the Green Bay Packers that has as much talent as any one of the three that you had just mentioned for Kansas City right now.
Okay, all right. You're right. Catch the damn ball.
Huh?
You should catch the damn ball. You're right.
Well, I'm just saying nobody's as good as Travis Kelce.
I understand
nobody's
that.
as good as Juju Smith-Schuster.
I understand that, but I was simply saying I was giving, hey, look, modern problems need modern solutions. And I'm just telling you, like, look, nobody expects Aaron Rodgers to hit them up and say, hey, yo, you know what? I'm having a get-together at the house. Whole team come over. We'll kick it. I got food. I got drinks. And we'll smoke. We'll do ayahuasca or whatever the hell you want to do. I'm just saying nobody would expect that. It will let people's guards down. And then when they go to that next game, it's like, man, yo, Aaron actually does rock with us. Actually, Aaron does vibe with us.
Yeah.
Like, that's all I'm saying is try something different. They got to catch the ball, duh.
Right. Well,
But
I'm just
you're
saying,
right. They have to catch the ball.
I guess the point that I'm trying to get to is that's part of an organizational failure from Green Bay as well as the reason why I thought they'd win 7 games this year.
I feel that, but we're past that. Like we're past what the organization did because we know it's the organization's fault. We're now in the season. Organization can't fix it in season unless they're bringing Odell and Jerry Jeudy to the Green Bay Packers. And if you can't do that, then try something different.
I'll one-up you here. I couldn't give a rat's you-know-what about the Green Bay Packers now.
This is true. We're only talking about them because of Maz.
Sit tight, Maz. I am over for a break. I got to get to a break. Come right back. More from the NFL. What happened last night? Wings and Pistons in action, too. But first, a message from the Foaling Warehouse.
In Hamtramck. That's right. Get on out there, folks. Get your foal on. 2 ways to play. $12 unlimited open play or a private lane reservation. 10 or 12 people on a lane. Run you $120, but you get it for 2 hours. Any drink you need, they've got it for you. Multiple full bars and a great beer menu. Over 100 beers to offer and the $2 mystery beer machine. Bring your own food in or have it delivered. Get on down to Foaling Warehouse. For more info, check out FoalingWarehouse.com.
Woodward Sports is giving you another chance to sit front row, this time at the Detroit versus Green Bay game. Think you have the best Dan Campbell impression?
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Can you say man with the best of them?
I got it. Here's what I need, man. I need you to trust me. I swear to God, I'm not a lunatic. I swear to you.
Can you say, let's go for it on 4th down?
Man, I got a plan, I swear to you. All I think about is you guys. That's all I think about, man.
Are you a master motivator?
That's all I think about is you guys.
Show us in a video. Record your best Dan Campbell impression and post the video on Twitter or Instagram using hashtag Woodward Front Row. We'll select the best 3 impersonations of Motor City Dan Campbell and send you and a guest front row. So knock the dust off the old sweatpants, light some kneecaps, and enter today. And as always, go Lions, man.
I just need you to trust me. That's all. Please.
I don't care if I got 1 toe, 2 butt cheeks, and a rock.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Kroger's, and if you wanna know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Time to tell you about Planet Fitness, where it is home of the judgment-free zone. Listen, no judgment, man. Everybody likes to work out, but everybody likes to work out at their own pace. Everybody doesn't. I don't want to be in your pace, Ryan. You don't need to be on my pace
either.
I want to work out at my own pace, and that's what they allow you to do here at Planet Fitness. Look how beautiful this place is. So clean. You know what? They used to always be clean. Now they're even cleaner. Cleanliness is next to godliness, and that's what they provide. Also, membership, only $10 a month.
Only $10?
Bruh, two $5 bills just to look amazing. Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
Essential. That is right. We are live from the Planet Fitness in Sterling Heights, 18 Mile and Ryan. Having a lot of fun out here. There's a Braylon Edwards jersey over there.
There is one. And a D-Mac.
And a Darren McCarty jersey.
Some tickets being sold or given away, I think.
Look at that.
Giving some stuff
Lots going on out here. Lots going on out here. I can't hear you.
Still got to guess the weights here. The free weights.
Do you have a guess?
No, I haven't got a clue.
Who do you go to for that?
I don't know. All right, let me throw something out at you.
The number.
Let me know how far away I am.
Okay.
Cold, hot. 1,500 pounds.
1,500 pounds?
Yeah.
What would you guess? The total amount of free weights in here.
So it'd be way more than 1,500 pounds, or it should be, because you figure out it's probably 4 workbenches, 4 or 5 times that by that, double that, 4 of those. Somewhere around like 15,000, to be honest.
Ooh, there we go. All right, I'm not going to give it away before 4 o'clock. I'd say neither of you are.
That's a lot of free weight. All right.
Yes.
4,000
Yeah,
pounds.
very good. Mass, let's continue on with some of the NFL stuff. Yesterday we talked to Lendale Whitebray.
We did.
And one of the things that he had talked about was playing in Nashville for the Titans.
Yep.
It was Nash Vegas. You want to take Nash Vegas to a whole nother level? Look at this,
Check this new Titans stadium that has been voted on. Now this is the rendering for it. Check out this video, and this might be the new home of the Tennessee Titans. That looks pretty cool.
I mean,
I'm blown away.
Home of the Super Bowl, home of WrestleMania, home of the college football national championship, Final Four, biggest concerts known to man.
You know, all the country music concerts are going to be there.
Host the
Nashville.
Pope. I mean, that place is going to do everything.
But we had that.
We
did.
Yeah, we did. We did have that.
Came. They promised build a stadium, and you'll get it. We got it all, but we're not getting it anymore.
But we didn't do our part of the deal, which is to win some games after we got the Super Bowl in 2006. You look at the Tennessee Titans. You look at the Nissan Stadium, which is 20 years old. You look at what they've done in a 20-year snapshot. They've been to a Super Bowl. They've been ranked the number 1 seed more than once. They've been to the playoffs more than 10 times or so. They're a team that when you look at it and you're breaking it down, you're like, okay, this is Nashville. This is the Titans. They're a ball club that gets to the playoffs. I mean, they were the number 1 seed in the AFC just last year. They got Derrick Henry. They've drafted some players that have hit for them. So that's what the NFL looks at when they get these stadium offers, these stadium deals. Like, why would we reward you guys and you guys aren't winning?
I mean, even Chicago wants something like that now. You know, Arlington Park is.
They're getting it.
They got it. They bought the land. They got approved as well.
No doubt.
Soldier Field is going to be a thing of the past.
Ford Field is going to be anxious. I mean, I know they put like over $100 million in renovations. But Ford Field, man, is going to be obsolete in the next 5-10 years.
You're
going to need another stadium.
It's a nice-looking place. It really, truly is.
They got to win some games for me to care about getting them a new stadium.
Yeah, they're making money. People still go.
Exactly.
Sorry, Saxa, you know what.
Hey, the Patriots are even changing theirs. They're going to have, you ready for this? The biggest scoreboard in the world. That's what Robert Kraft is promising for Gillette Stadium. So the stadium already looks cool. But it's going to be Jerry World big. That's how big the new scoreboard.
Incredible.
In New England. That's what you get for winning against.
I mean, you win
all over
7.
those years.
You win 6 Super Bowls. I would like you to do something that stands out.
Right?
No doubt about it, man. Let's talk about Jim Nantz. Oh, before we get to Jim Nantz, Antonio Brown is at it again. Earlier in the week, once the Tampa Bay Bucks lost earlier in the week, Antonio Brown came out with a little picture. And, he called them all kinds of names, and he put his head on Tom Brady. He put Tom Brady's head on his body when he was running out of MetLife Stadium. We could show we'll show these to you. And he called the Buccaneers the Tampon Bay Buccaneers. So he is really roasting his old team and his old friend at one point, a guy that kept him in the NFL. What do you think about that, guys?
I couldn't care less if I ever heard from Antonio Brown again, to be honest with you. It really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I mean, he's only doing this to get attention, and he's not getting a ton of attention from a lot of people. Brady took him in, got him back into the league, got him a ring, gave him a chance, and this is how you treat a guy. I don't like it.
I'm about to connect 2 dots with one throw, one massive throw. I'm gonna hit 2 targets. I don't care. As a black man, I don't care if I ever hear from AB again, and I ever don't care if I hear from his representation, which is Kanye West and Donda. You see Aaron Donald left. You see Jaylen Brown left. I'm tired of these 2 individuals. They make the community look terrible. They're just doing things right now for their self-benefit, and all they're really doing is doing things for their self-detriment. Kanye finally went too far, and AB has been gone too far. I don't care if I ever hear from either one of them again. Never. Don't care how good AB was when he played. I don't care how much I like Kanye music once upon a time ago. I don't care if I hear from either one of those guys ever again.
I think that's well said. Well said, Braylon. Absolutely.
Hey, we're not going to hear from Jim Nantz after this year at the Final Four. He is turning it over. This is going to be his last Final Four on CBS. It's going to go over to the Eagle. Iron Eagle is going to take over after this year. So Jim Nantz probably just going to concentrate on the NFL and then go right to Augusta for the Masters.
You know what's so funny is I thought Iron Eagle was like 60 years old.
Really? He's not.
I did. I thought Iron Eagle was like 51 years old. Iron Eagle.
He calls
so
a good game.
And look, he's a great announcer, Jim Nantz, because the Final Four is going back and forth.
Yeah.
To CBS and TNT. He wants to end on CBS, and he's got like an 8-year-old or a 9-year-old or something like that.
He's still hitting
so Jim Nantz,
road trips.
Absolutely, Jim Nantz going home a little bit. Serena Williams
I don't want to talk about
unretires.
Her she unretires. Goodbye, Serena.
Yeah,
we gave you
unretires.
the US
Jim
Open.
Nantz retires.
See you later.
It's hard for the greats to
Serena
say.
unretired.
Yeah,
don't do that to Serena Williams.
I'm done.
Oh, no, everybody said that when Tom retired.
Well, we're having.
We let Tom retire.
No, we're having some fun.
Before he
think about this: Serena Williams, GOAT.
Yeah.
Tom Brady, GOAT. Tiger Woods, GOAT.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan, GOAT. They can't give it up.
No. Why would you?
Exactly.
Why would you?
Especially when you're one of the best.
Everybody you name won another championship.
I agree,
after they came back.
You ain't getting an argument from me. Got to take a break. Come right back. Interesting thing happened back in April. It's going to pay out big. Cannot wait to share this with you. But first, a message
the Tigers are a couple games behind.
Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac. It is no. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac. It's no secret. The new cars are hard to come by. They are available at Les Stanford. Got to make a plan. Allocation coming in for lease or purchase of new vehicles. Les Stanford has also 300 pre-owned cars on their lot right now. All makes, all models, all years. Some with less than 500 miles on them. So they're like new. Get off your heels into some wheels. Come on down today. Practically giving them away at Les Stanford Chevrolet and Cadillac. LesStanford.com. LesStanford.com.
Find new roads.
Find them.
At work and at home. We're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Follow us everywhere. Just search Woodward Sports on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, IG, and more.
At Alta, uptime matters. Alta Equipment's got everything you need to get the job done.
Uptime.
Get it done.
Muted. Have a big project coming up. Alta Rentals got you covered. Call them today at 844-GO to Alta. That's 844-GO, the number 2, Alta.
I got to get to this before the end of the show here. A better in April. Here we go. Show it to me. A better in April placed a $50 bet, okay, $50 on BetMGM, that said the Astros would beat the Philadelphia Phillies in the World Series. 2,500 to 1.
No, 250,000.
Yeah, but it's plus 250,000. It's plus 250,000. Yes. Wow.
Yes.
So 2,500 to 1, essentially, that is. They're a Houston victory away from winning $125,000
for $50
on a $50 bet.
If you're at BetMGM, do you throw him a excuse me, little coach? Do you throw him a cash out option?
Sure. Absolutely.
If you're the guy, do you take it?
And I think that Mattress Mac has a cash-out option now, too. Because
it's like $1.2 million.
$75 million, the largest legal sports wager ever placed.
I was way off.
Largest payout. $75 million if the Astros win.
So, like, if you're, let's say you're this guy. This guy has a chance to win $125,000.
Yep.
$125,000. What cash out would you accept?
80.
Okay.
How about you just bet against yourself here if you're that guy?
Yeah, but you got to. What are you going to do? Take a mortgage out? You know what I mean? Reasonable. No. What I'm saying though,
he's got to bet. He bets Philly. How much do you bet on Philly to still win a good amount if Houston wins? Because he's going to win. I'm talking about Mattress Man.
Yeah, bet $25,000.
I'm talking about the kid.
Yeah, I know, but how many normal people have $20,000 laying around to make a bet?
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so you essentially have to go through the process of.
I know a guy.
I got a guy.
Yeah.
I got a guy, too.
Oh, Lord. Next subject.
I got a guy, too.
Hey, next subject. Next subject.
He says next subject. I said, I got a guy.
Next subject.
$20K?
That's a hell of a.
Nothing.
So how about those Pistons now, Joe?
Pistons and Wings both lose last night. Red Wings lost for the first time in regulation all season long. Pistons.
They've gotten blown out 3 straight games.
Yeah, blown out 3 straight times. But again, here's the thing with the Pistons. I'm still interested in the Pistons. I still feel they're a year away from competing for the playoffs. And every minute that these young guys are playing is a minute that matters towards the future. Yeah. It's not exciting to get blown out, but at least you feel like you have your guys now.
They play Atlanta tonight at LCA if you guys want to go on down.
And that team is good. The addition of Javonte Murray down there in Atlanta. But I agree with you. At the end of the day, you got young guys. It's a young process. You know it's going to take time, but you're seeing some good stuff. Bojan Bogdanovic is playing really well as the experienced vet. And then the only thing that I would say, only caveat I would have, I just got to see Cade controlling more. Like, I see Cade deferring a lot, and maybe he's figuring it out. But I want Cade to be that dominant leader you see. I know he's the leader, but I want everybody to see that he's the leader.
I don't want to say it at the end of the show. The only thing I don't want to say it at the end of the show.
Was it yesterday?
No, I'm ready for a younger set of eyes as head coach.
Are the Pistons?
Yeah, you know, I just am. To maybe, I don't know. I love Dwayne Casey. He's a great basketball coach, but he's been at this thing for a number of years now with the Pistons. I'm almost ready. You know what my perfect scenario is? Honestly, my perfect scenario is after this season, Dwayne Casey writes his own ticket within the Pistons organization, stays in the front office, and you bring in Ime Udoka.
Yeah, 100%. I like Ime Udoka, and The Boston Celtics have gone on record and said if he gets another job, if somebody comes after him, they have no problem releasing him to them. They just won't pay him the rest of his contract. So if that's going to be him, look, if you want to bring in a guy that had a consensual relationship with somebody working in office, I have no problem with that. That's none of my business. Just don't do that. You know what? Here, let's go win some championships. I'm good with Ime Udoka because it ain't going to be Chauncey, because Chauncey's looking real good out there in Portland now.
I don't think it'll be Chauncey either. And I don't know. I think
perfect timing.
I think Udoka is the guy.
I think so too.
I think you can go get you've got a great young head coach that is right there with a great young core of talent. And I just think it's and I've always said, what have I always said about this young Pistons team? I think you mirror yourselves after the Boston Celtics.
And now you bring in their coach.
And now you can bring in their coach. That's maybe another topic for another day. But that being said, want to thank everybody here at Planet Fitness. Again, newly renovated Planet Fitness in Sterling Heights, 18 Mile in Ryan. We cannot thank them for their partnership on Woodward Sports enough. We talk about it all the time. Only $10, no judgments. There is a Planet Fitness near you, so head there today. Why not?
This is amazing out here, man. I like it here, man. Too bad this one's a little far from my house. But
there's one near you. Bray, get us out of here.
Yo, man, appreciate Planet Fitness. This has been amazing. Like Ryan and Marty said, look, we're having a hump day weekend. It's a good one. We got Michigan State still talking about Sheila Hamp. She came out, talked about the Detroit Lions. So go back, check that out on woodwardsports.com. Check out our clips. Like them if you can. Jump in, talk. Give us some of your thoughts on tomorrow's show and moving into Friday. We will have more guests as the week lets out. But why don't you guys enjoy the last days of fall, because it's creeping in the winter. You know how Michigan does, man. For my man Fletch, JB, Adam Morrissey, Stick,
Fletch
on staff, Joe Weed, Stick, Maz, and my brother from another mother, Ryan and Mike.
You know what time it is.
We are Edwards and Amani with Maz, or Maz with Edwards and Amani. However you want to say it, that's who we are. We're out of here.
It looks great.
We're about to see the Neil Rule in action.
This man... What can't Neil Rule do? What can't Neil Rule do? Like this guy is
everything.
He's a jack of all trades.
He had two women pass him. He didn't even blink. What a stud! Look at this guy.
Look at him. You know what he's repeatedly saying to himself? Draft capital, salary cap.
Draft capital,
draft
100%.
capital.
Salary cap. Brad Holmes.
Brad Holmes.
Capital. Oh God, this is the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
He said,
God, he's even got the Apple Watch on. Oh, my God. Neil's a high roller.